listen to this later. I want you to just think of what your vision is. What is your vision for your life right now? What comes?
I have, with Yana's help, just a fabulous desire statement that is wonderful to keep me grounded every day, and it's just about, you know, having a relationship and what that means.
So what? Yeah. So what does that mean?
So feeling safe and excited and happy, and you know, I just have like the moment that most just the image that most articulates it for me is just me doing something simple like cooking dinner in the kitchen and having him just come and, you know, wrap his arm around my waist and just give me a kiss. You know, It's just so simple but means so much.
And so when you think about this vision for your life, what is the negative voice inside your head saying?
So I'm kind of working through waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for something to go wrong, waiting for...
Okay. So not trusting that you'll be awesome no matter what.
Yeah. No, not... I guess, yes, a little bit of that, being exposed to pain, you know, that pain again.
Afraid of in pain.
Yeah. But, you know, not trusting that, you know, for what, you know, that I'm worthy of that, really, at the end of the day.
Okay, so you're not worthy of being happy?
Of having that
beautiful relationship?
Yeah.
And where in your body do you feel that when you think about that, not being worthy?
So in my stomach and my chest.
Okay. That's exactly where my hands are right now. Okay, and what kind of feelings are coming up? Fear?
Just
sadness?
Really sad about, you know, about like what's it going to take, you know, like.
You're lonely?
Not lonely so much, actually, which is strange, but worse that, you know, like that being happy and then being sad again.
Okay.
Fear after the rise, do you know what I mean? Like being happy for a minute and just trusting it for a minute and just
that makes
having that again, and enjoying it, and still somehow, you know, even Yana said yesterday, you know, it's an exercise to say this too shall pass, not only in the bad times but in the good times as well.
And yes,
I just feel like I've been through enough shit. I just want to be happy for a minute, you know.
So the lack of trusting that moment will last, keeps you from experiencing the happiness in that moment.
So I experience the happy in the moment. It's the longevity of that.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
So I during that conversation on Sunday, I had my own agenda, and it came with a cost. You know, the conversation was difficult because I wasn't able to just let go and trust that whatever's meant to happen will happen. I wanted to have a flight booked, and that's what I came out of the call with. But it was a difficult conversation, and there was a price to pay for that because I was too attached to the outcome of having a flight booked. And whereas I've been not before that, I've been able to be detached and just be able to just be whatever happens, happens.
All right, so let's talk about, let's go back into your chest and your heart where you're feeling sad, and just kind of lean into that. And let's talk about how real the detachment was before. So
before, just with Paul or before?
With Paul and any time before, but particularly with Paul, where you and I even had a conversation where you're like, I'm going to be different. I'm not going to be a chick where I'm worrying about him calling and things like that, which, there's a balance, right? There's a balance of completely shutting ourselves and our emotions down and, being authentic. And so detached is awesome if it's from an authentic place where we are truly looking at what our needs are when we have anxiety, fear, or any of the unpleasant, unhappy emotions. So do you see what I'm getting at?
I do, because Yana kind of, so this is really, this is another layer. So Yana called me out, a couple of months ago on even wanting a relationship. She's just like, Carol, I'm just calling you out on this bullshit. You laugh it off and you dismiss it, you put it to one side, and, you have to own it. And so I was able to say that to myself. Being able to say that to him is a different layer again, yeah.
Yeah, and so...
But it took a long time for her to get it out of me that I even was willing to acknowledge that, just because of, opening yourself up to that vulnerability of that too. Like, yes, I wanted it, but did I want to be exposing myself to that kind of pain again?
Sure.
It's a long time to be able to say, okay, I'll give this a go.
Right. Yeah, so there's this place that you're approaching and you're balancing, and then you're going one side to the other side, and it's this place of what is happiness and how can we be truly happy when sad shit happens. So, and to not be afraid and to start to just accept that sad shit will happen, and we don't have control over that for the most part.
So it's like intellectually I know all of that, and I get that through the divorce and everything, I'm a much better person for it and all that. So I get all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said to her too, there's still, it just feels nice to have a man's arms wrapped around you at night,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no reason for that to not feel nice, right? Of course, we want happiness like that. And we want to be in that moment, letting it fill us up. And we also want to have that place of connection to ourselves that we know that even if that goes away, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think I've got that, but it still doesn't mean that I don't know, but I'm not scared of that happening too.
Yeah, you're a human being, so you're a human being, sure. And
I know that I'll be fine. I know that.
Yeah, but you're a human being. You're going to feel that way. It's good. So when you feel anxious about that or afraid or sad, what is it that you're needing in those moments?
Reassurance.
And what does reassurance look like to you?
Do you mean when I'm having a conversation with him, or do you mean just for me in general?
Just in general, what is reassuring? Let's look at some other words that are tied to reassurance. Reassurance is it reassurance that there's a connection? Is it reassurance that you are understood? Is it reassurance that you're making a difference? Is it reassurance that you are independent, or that you are in a community? Is it about affection, attention, acknowledgement, affection?
Probably mostly affection.
Okay. So, and what does affection look like to you? What would somebody do and then you feel that they've shown you affection?
Give me a hug.
Okay, so a hug. And in the absence of somebody being physically in your presence, what would that be?
So from friends and things, just, just how I am with them. It's like, love you, gorgeous, or something like that.
Yeah, just a statement of a sweetness.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have those moments of anxiety or fear, and you feel your chest and your stomach tighten, they're tied to that real human need of affection. And that is not going to go away, because as humans, we have needs, beyond our physical needs of safety and shelter and, food.
Yeah.
We also need attention, affection, appreciation. We need community. We need autonomy. And all of us have a variety of needs that are quite different from everybody else's needs, but they're emotional needs. They're not, we're not going to necessarily die physically. We might over time, if we are starved of those things for a long period of time, we can certainly become depressed and get sick and die. But they're needs, they're our needs, and they're great. And we have been taught to, especially as women, to downplay our needs, to feel needy if we have needs, to feel weak if we have needs, and all of these things that are completely false steer us away from acknowledging our needs. When we have an emotion, whether it's happy or unpleasant, it has to do with our needs. We're happy when our needs are met. We're unhappy when our needs are not met. And so when you have an emotion, especially, right now, if you're having unpleasant emotions, immediately go to the place of, what do I need? And that's when you can start to ask for specifically what you need. You start to understand, what is it that looks like affection to me, and ask for that. And ask for it without attachment to whether or not that person can give it to you. And that's what you were talking about earlier, becoming detached. It doesn't mean that you don't care and that you don't hope that that person is able to meet your request, but it gives you the ability to have other options. So what else looks like an affection? Well, if I asked Paul and he couldn't do it, Tammy, Jonna, any number of my friends I can connect with them and I can get some affection. And so now I'm empowered, right? Of course, you're starting this relationship with this man and you would love for him to be able to do that. He may not be able to, whatever. You want to be empowered so that you know that even if he can't, it's not like it's not going to hurt.
Somebody's smashing bottles outside in the recycling bin. Can you hear it?
Yes, I can.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Doesn't bother me. You just back to the meadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to start to have these options for yourself based on what your needs are underlying these emotions. And it's that communication process that we talked about, a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, of starting to be okay when we have unpleasant feelings because we know what to do now. We know we can figure out what we need and how can we get that need met. And this is the kind of thing that you can do even if it's not in context with Paul, because you don't know really what's available there. And you can tell him, I felt anxious because, I feel amazing and so happy when I get a daily, note from you or a text or a call because I really need that. That feels like affection to me. And I need that. And I get scared when I don't get that. And you're not saying he's doing anything wrong. You're saying, this is what's going on for me. And could you maybe check in with me once a day? And he may say, no, that's too needy. And I say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Are you feeling, and you can start to, are you feeling anxious because you think I might ask for too much of your time? Or, are you needing more autonomy and this feels, like I might be invading your autonomy? You can start to move into what he might be needing and feeling and maybe draw him out a little bit. And he may shut you down completely or whatever, but this is the kind of thing that you can do from an empowered place, a place of, vulnerability, but being okay if if he can't respond. It's not about you. And to really start.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, it's not about you, it's about what his needs are and how they are butting up against your needs. And both needs are completely valid and can be, and you can make a decision once you start to have this kind of relationship with yourself. You can have this conversation with other people in your life and you can find out what's really possible in that relationship and how often are you having to go get your needs met somewhere else. When it's your primary relationship, it's a mirror for a lot of shit, he's mirroring some stuff back to you by, where are you shutting off? Where are you not going deep? Where are you wanting to just shut it down and laugh it off to, a couple of words? So he's mirroring that for you, and that's beautiful, and that's relationships. It's about relating. And it's important. So let's go ahead and bring you back to your vision of having this, these beautiful times in your relationship when someone comes and just, you're cooking dinner together, and it can be, big strong arms around you at night, and that feels so good. And just, your needs are met. And just allow your breathing to just breathe into that. And right now, we're on your third chakra, which is your solar plexus. And the back of it is spinning, is not spinning, the front is spinning. So the power center, the fronts and backs of chakras, fronts are your desire, your vision, and the backs are your will centers. It's like being able to do it. And you mentioned this, and it's completely congruent with what I feel here, is that intellectually I see it, but I don't know how to do it. And so we're just going to sit here and just breathe into your solar plexus. And just allow that back of your chakra to spin clockwise as the front spins clockwise, drawing energy in. And just allowing you to really completely visualize and see how it can be that you can have that happiness that happiness for a reason and happiness for no reason. And see if you can now bring your attention up to your sixth chakra, your chakra between your eyes, your third eye, where you have intuition, where you can see the steps on the front, and the back of the sixth chakra is being able to do the steps. And with no pressure whatsoever, just allow yourself to imagine what it might look like to be in that place and to be okay with uncertainty, to be okay with sadness. What does that look like?
It feels really strong.
And what?
It's got purpose too.
It's got what?
Purpose.
Purpose. And what actions would you be taking that may be different from what you're doing now?
It's not being scared of, it's always been a problem though, it's like being able to articulate in the moment without getting all sputtery.
Mm-hmm.
I've used that word with you before, sputtery.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's look at sputtery, and what is bad about coming back to a situation and revisiting it?
I think it loses context.
Okay, so here's the truth. The truth is we can't be articulate in the moment until we've practiced. Until we've practiced identifying what we need, identifying, the feelings, the needs, and how we can get those needs met. In the moment, when you're in an emotional state, you can't access that. There's no way to access that unless you've gotten, through meditation and through work, that's, you've been doing. But there's specific exercises that you can do that need to be done on past situations. And you don't necessarily have to have the conversations, but have gone through them so that you start to have practice about what else is available to you when you are in that moment. And to actually step away from moments where your stomach's tight and your throat's tight. You're like, okay, I'm in an emotional reaction. I'm not going to be able to do anything useful, and be okay with that and say, okay, it's not going to happen now. And so let's talk about why you think it loses context.
Because I strongly doubt that he gave Sunday night a second thought. It's been me who's been caught up in it for days.
And here's the thing. Oh, there's a bell on my computer. Sorry about that. Here's the thing. That may or may not be true, and it doesn't matter. What matters is you had some unpleasant feelings, you had needs underneath those feelings, and you desire to find out how to get those needs met so that you are empowered in your life. And the process for doing that is for you to find out what those needs are, what the emotions are, what the needs are, and what does it take to get those needs met. And then you can look at all your options around how does that need get met. And if, it's not like you have to go to him with every single need you have. But if there are important ones that you would like in a relationship, you sort that all out. And now he's not responsible for all your needs. You're just asking for him to help you in this one area. And if you are very specific about what he can do to meet that need, most men, most people, when you're very specific about something that will make you happy, they're elated because he's probably really scared that you have a bunch of needs that he has no idea how to meet, and so he's going to shut you down. Now, if you came to him with just one specific one, or not 10 at once, you might go to him over time with 10, but and just say, hey, you know what, this long distance relationship is really hard on me, and I love connection, and I feel so happy when I get connection. And connection, if I don't get a note or a call or something for several days, I start to feel sad and anxious. Could you, it would make me feel so, at ease if you could just check in with me. And then he may say, whatever, needy, that's too needy or whatever, and say, well, are you feeling like I'm asking for too much of your time? I imagine that, that might be, scary, or might feel like too much for you. Is that what's going on for you? And you can start to kind of give him words that he may not be able to have. And he might say, yeah, I feel like that, or no, that's not it, I can call you, or, So it opens up a dialogue, but it would need to be something where you're not in the moment for it to have, when anybody's in an emotional space where he might be scared and you're scared and he's shutting you down and that makes you more scared, nothing beneficial can happen in that moment. So that's why it's really so important to be able to take some examples with you, or just to have a fresh conversation and be able to say, when this happened, when I was trying to make the plane reservation, and you said, oh, well, maybe it won't happen, I felt hurt because I thought that meant you didn't want to have a connection. And, that wasn't, that probably wasn't what was happening, but I felt vulnerable and scared because I hadn't heard from you. And you can start to, not put it all on him. You just keep it on your own thing. But it really does have, for you, would need to have that element of being able to be okay with being sputtery in the moment, because you will be. And there will be moments as you get better at this, and then when you start to know exactly what you're needing, there will be moments where you will be able to be extremely articulate in the moment. And then the very next week, you'll sputter again. And that's okay. That's okay. That's the beauty of the steps of change, right? And noticing that it's happening is really the very first step. And if you sputter your way through a conversation, that's okay. You just look at it and you go, okay, what would I have liked to have done? And just allow yourself to have that walk through, and not the kind where you think about it and wish I said this, wish I said that. It's about going, I'm going to do this once. I'm going to walk through it, and I'm going to say, yeah, that would have been good. Is it something I want to revisit? Yes or no? Okay. If it's not, I'm letting it go. I'm going to get this need met somewhere else. So you just start to empower yourself so that even when you're sputtery in the moment, you're like, okay, I can't really do anything right now. That's okay. Give myself a hug. I'll figure it out later, and I'll either talk to them about it or I won't. And so how does that feel in your body?
I really, I'm not using your words as such, but I'm coming up with my own words in a way that does feel comfortable. And that's the first time I've found any comfort in having that type of conversation. Nothing that Yana was saying yesterday, because Yana talks different. Do you know what I mean? Like she speaks in that spiritual speak, which is different to the language you can use with an ex-army.
In a real conversation.
Yeah, exactly. They're two disparate ends of the scale. So I'm getting more, and I will listen to the recording, I'm getting more room around it without feeling like I've either got to do it Yana's way or not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting some breathing space around it to have that be okay. It would be okay for me to say, look, in booking the flight, I didn't want to cause any stress or drama or whatever, but my intention behind it was to keep the connection going.
Yeah.
So to know that I was going to see you, because to keep the connection, I need to be able to see you. Okay for me to say that, and they're my words.
Yeah, that's beautiful what you just said. You're not blaming him for anything.
Yeah.
You're just saying, this is what I need, this was what my intention was, and this is,
It wasn't meant to be stressful. I don't know why it was, but, my intention was this, because to keep this going, I need that. That feels really comfortable to me. Really, really comfortable. Not at all sputtery. It's like 12 words or less. It's simple, and it will be met with a, really simple response that I don't have attachment to, because it's my statement of what I need. And I really like that that's come out of this conversation, and it's not Yana's words.
And that is exactly what, the guidance and what you hear from Yana might be something internally you can identify with, but the practical application of it has to be, filtered through you, and that's why coming up with your own definitions of your needs and your words is perfect. So you're doing a beautiful job of walking through this with me so that you can get to that place of, this is what I need, and that's, that's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can, and how might we do this? You can imagine how it might go in the future when you start to really own those needs and really understand.
Exactly. But I think, I feel so much more stable because I've been able to put some simple words around that too for the future, for whatever, as opposed to, it's kind of like I feel like I've got some direction with that, as opposed to just feeling like an emotional flapping around little girl who doesn't know how to.
Yeah, so just embrace
without coming off as being emotional, So yeah.
And embrace that. Embrace it's okay to be emotional. It truly gives us information. And when we become frantic, when we try to stop the emotion, and we get upset that we're not able to articulate, and that just makes it worse, right? And just be okay if in that moment you're crying. It's like, okay, you know what? You can even say, you know what? I'm really emotional about this, and I may or may not talk to you about it. I need, a moment, and go take care of yourself, and just ask yourself, what am I needing here? Why am I feeling emotion? You can step away from the conversation and come back and revisit it or not. It's just really about, you'll know after you say, what did I need? Well, I needed attention. I needed affection. I needed acknowledgement. I needed, I needed someone to call me and tell me they love me. It's just like, okay, how can I get that and not apply it to this situation? We start with, we start with our own needs, and thank God we have needs and feelings about them not being met. So the language that would be great for you to start using in your head is not whiny little girl or, emotional chick. It's about beautiful, beautiful Carol having needs that are human needs. And
but it is too. It's a really, it is a strong, empowered woman who owns that.
Yeah.
Without being needy. There's nothing needy. If I said those words exactly like what I said them to you, there's nothing needy in that.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just
That
stating.
would be the first time that I have experienced it within my own cells that clearly.
Good. All right. So let's just bring yourself into that space, allowing that to permeate your cells. That's a beautiful way to put it, that you feel it in your cells, how empowered stating that is. And just, I'm all goosebumpy from being here with you.
I am.
Oh, yeah. So that's the beauty of our connection and connecting in this way. I'm feeling that, and you're in Australia, and I'm in this.
Yeah, I know. But it is, I mean, I get that it's all about energy, and I knew, even before Sunday's conversation, I was wobbly. I just knew that I was, and I tried to reground myself as much as I could, and I couldn't figure out why I was, but 2 or 3 hours beforehand, I'm just going, I'm not even really in a headspace to have this conversation, but
here we go.
But here we go, exactly. You're not, it's not always going to work out perfectly.
Right.
But sure enough, pretty much went exactly
how you were feeling going in. And the beauty of that is wobbles give us so much information. And so when we were talking about
so much information.
Yeah, that's how we learn. That's how we learn in yoga. When we go into bow pose or some balance pose, the wobbles are what give us the information. And so it's sometimes it sucks and we want to say, I don't want another fucking growth experience, but here I am.
Take your growth experiences and shove them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm done. Aren't I done? But no, you're not. So, but to have the humor about that, to, just be okay when we have a wobble. It's like, okay, I have another opportunity in this next moment to figure out what I'd like to do different.
What it really did too was, like after a couple of days, I was like, no, I will not apologise. Like for the first couple of days, it really hit my inner 5-year-old who'd made this big mistake in public and chose never to get up in public again and, start working with computers and all that sort of stuff because her little...
Yeah, I remember her.
I'm sorry for making a boo-boo. I wrote a note to Mum and Dad on the kitchen table after getting home from the concert. I'm sorry for making a boo-boo.
No.
So Monday and Tuesday was all about...
You kind of went back there and...
Yeah, and at least by Wednesday I'd reached that space of...
No.
I will not apologise for that, and if you can't deal, you can't deal. Because I'd started to come to where I am today about embracing that, okay, well that might be chick shit to you, but it's the same beautiful chick shit that allows me to
be me.
Articulate my appreciation of you. So,
yeah, there you go.
To be expressive and all of that. So
exactly,
and it's a vibe thing. Like you and I getting goosebumps at the same time. It's a vibe thing. Once you feel that in your bones, they don't. It doesn't get questioned.
Yeah, and you want to. We will get pulled away from that. But you have that frame of reference now, so breathing back into that place, that cellular level of this is me and I'm connected.
That's okay.
Yeah, this is me. It's okay. I'm not perfect, and I'm perfect. I'm perfect in my imperfection. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm weak. I'm emotional, I'm steady, I'm wobbly, I'm all of these beautiful things all wrapped up into fabulousness. And and when I get pulled away from believing in my fabulousness, I know how to get back because it's in my cells. And I may forget sometimes, but I can come back here. And that's where I see you right now really grounding into that tether and being able to, it's okay if you float away from it and you feel out of sorts because you can go, oh, I'm just forgetting who I am. come back. And to really start to have that faith. And then when you feel anxious, it's okay. You can go, oh, I have faith. Let's turn that into excitement.
Yeah.
I feel sad. That's okay. Sad is okay. What do I need? What do I need here? What can help me?
Oh my God, that's so funny that you've just said it exactly like that. When he said, if this doesn't happen, don't take it personally, and I just said, look, I said, I just know that if I get off this phone call and I don't have a flight booked, I will be sad. If I have a flight booked, I will be happy.
Yeah.
And then he just said, straight after that, will you do what you need to do, Missy?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but not in a bad way. Not in a, oh God, well, you just can do whatever you fucking need to do.
No, it was like, okay, you do it. Do what you need.
Yeah. You do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Effectively, you do what makes you happy. Because I literally had to go back to, as if I was speaking to Sam, the 5-year-old. I would never use sad in a sentence. No,
yeah. I will be happy with X and I will be sad with Y.
X equals happy, Y equals sad. You know? And,
yeah, good.
And then he came straight back. So that's so interesting that you just said it exactly the way you said it, which was exactly how the conversation went.
Yeah, good.
How funny.
Well, so this is all congruence, and when you're, circling these places, the congruence, the synchronicity, all of that stuff starts to happen, and you will hear these supportive things, and it cements it for you, and it really creates a strong tether. So yeah, so this is yesterday when we were on Facebook, I kind of felt like, oh, you're right at this one spot. And I was so glad that you were able to do this today because, I just knew it would be very efficient for you. And
yeah, absolutely. I was just like, can you do it now? Sort of.
and I was going, I couldn't, but I was like, oh, I can do it right now. But it'll be great tomorrow too. So
yeah, exactly.
It's also really nice that you chose to, I kind of put out a little bit of thought around, well, the full moon, 2 days before and after the full moon's very intense. Mercury is in retrograde.
Oh, and I'm full on PMT. I'm due Sunday.
Yeah. So for you,
that's why I delayed. I could have been up there now, but I delayed. I just was like, darling, I'll just be coming into my cycle. How about we wait a week until it's done?
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
No pressure. It's different from avoidance when you consciously decide. You're not. It didn't feel like excuses the way you presented it to me when you talked early in this conversation. You said, this stuff is going on. I did all these really nourishing things, and I just thought, you know what, it's not, I'm not going to do what I want to do here, so I'm not going to have this conversation yet.
I was not going to get the end result that could now come from having the words that I have today. I feel like a brand new person. I swear to God, if I'm able to practice some of those things so that maybe, like you say, like in the situation, I won't go into avoidance, or I won't go into, I'll allow you to shut down my femininity with, my chick shit, or something like that. Like, I just feel so much more open, whereas, one wobble from him yesterday would have sent me to my knees, and all that would have done is would have meant, okay, we've had 2 bad conversations in a row now. It would have doubled the problem.
Yeah, and especially because being long distance and not in, Yeah. So I think that you really have. This is huge. This is awesome.
It's massive for me.
Yeah.
I feel completely different. When you said put your hand on your solar plexus, my head was screaming. I don't want to let him go yet. I don't want to let him go. I don't want to let him go.
Yeah.
And it was screaming in my head. And to have turned that round in the matter of like 15 minutes to coming into such a place of strength is amazing, like.
Well, this is you. You're strong.
But opened up a whole new way of accessing that too.
Yay, that's awesome. Well, and that is your power center. That is your strength, and you are a beautiful, powerful woman. And we all need guidance to reconnect to that beauty and power. And when there's a way, that I've been shown how to do that with people. It's so beautiful to watch, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, darling.
So
This feels really like a brand new avenue.
So what we did this when we were doing some of the we did the communication lessons way back when.
Yeah.
With the nonviolent communication. This is all from that framework, and so I can resend you the feeling words, the needs list, and kind of the steps if you think that's useful.
I do, yeah, and the recording, because
and
I think that would be really interesting to listen to again.
Yeah, definitely. So I will put the recording I have to process, but I will put some notes, and I'll put those. Did I make you a web page?
No.
Okay, I'll make you a web page, and this is what I do for my clients now. I make a web page, and I just put everything up there so that you don't have to go dig through to find anything.
Yeah.
So I'll put a bunch of the stuff that we've done before up there, but I'll also put this recording so that you can download it and listen to it.
Thank you.
And yay! I'm so happy for you. And
thank you, darling.
So go ahead and just let's seal this up. Just bring yourself back into this comfortable space and bring yourself back to that meadow with the sound of the waterfall. Just soaking up all of the elements of space and air and the warmth of the sun, the fire, the water, and the earth. And just allow all of those to fill you up. And just know that this life force is always available to you. And allow all of these elements of nature to just be a reminder. So anytime you notice beauty in nature, it brings you back to this place of beauty within, that connection, that power center, your heart center, your connection to the planet, all of your chakras and all of their beauty. And know that the nature, all the elements of nature nourish each and every cell of your body. And you can bring yourself back to that place of knowing that you are exactly perfect and imperfect at all times. And just breathe in the beauty of you and take a nice deep breath out as you allow yourself to